and do all those things, or they get killed. And you wonder why you go to the mall or anywhere and people look and act like animals now, because it's designed. The American dream has been killed by the prisons and killed by the drug war. And you're going to have more criminals, more thugs, more collapse, all scientifically planned by the social engineers, and they all wrote books on it bragging how they do it. And you know what? They did it. They did it. They did it. And now they want Agenda 21 to make it too expensive to live outside mega cities. Whoever could run, they call it white flight, but other people that could ran too, have run to the country. And they've got their kids. I mean, I've seen the statistics. I was in school, high school 20 years ago, and things were very promiscuous. It was wild. I mean, I cannot believe how wild it was. And I went to school in Dallas, and then I went to school here. Wild everywhere. Wild. I've looked at statistics, because Rob Dew was telling me about this last night. I looked it up. Young people are 4 times more promiscuous than when I was in high school. They don't even ask each other's names now. STDs are exploding. Abortions, just bam, 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 wrecking these girls' wombs. The society is collapsing. Just like Mexico's collapsed and nobody will tell you, America's beginning its collapse, and the media won't tell you. Or they'll look at spots and offer government as the solution when it was all engineered. They've raised the taxes in Greece, it's collapsing. They raised the taxes in California. They know it was going to collapse. They want to get all the pieces. I had tried everything. I'd cut back the amount. I started getting into the first little stack of news and digressed off for an entire segment. But coming up, I'll get more into the designed world depression run by the captains of the New World Order, the bankster, fraud, con artists, Bernie Madoff, Ken Lay types that rule our globe and should all just go to jail and the whole nightmare could end. But the general public has no idea what planet they're even on or how things work. Again, I'm not elitist in saying this. I look at adults and I people watch and I talk to folks, and it is amazing how many executives and millionaires and people that are successful I talk to who are so specialized in their one area, they know nothing else. And they don't want to know anything else. Well, no wonder you're going to have your lunch eaten and we're going to be overrun and everything's going to collapse. This is a very decadent society, ladies and gentlemen. Very decadent. And the power structure does not fear the people enough. And so the sky is the limit, and the worst elements of society are being allowed to take over. We're all seeing the latest on Syria. Here it is right here. Starving Greeks line up for food in their thousands as debt-wrecked country finally forms a coalition government. But how long will it last? Pelosi says hold her contempt charge about suppressing vote. We're going to continue going over all that. Also, people who are American citizens, but they get asked, they say, are you Iranian when you go to the Apple store? And they say, we can't sell to anyone of Iranian derivation because there's a ban on selling technology to Iran. You got to love that George W. Bush era thing where only Halliburton was allowed to sell stuff to Iran. They had the sanctions put on, and then only Halliburton could sell them all their oil field equipment at 3 times what it cost. It's just total criminal global government scams. That's what it's all about monopolies. So that's an interesting article. MMR causes autism, proven in Italian court case. Study, this is CBS News, obesity could lead to depletion of Earth's resources. So, again, they're going to start taxing you if your carbon footprint's too big from eating. You're like, oh, yeah, and they're going to ban big soft drinks and milk and popcorn. Oh, they did? Oh, it's spreading from New York? Oh, the ATF's back out saying they want to ban most shotguns. See, it's all happening. And they're going, we don't need Congress to take your shotgun. We've bought armored pillboxes and drones and wheeled tanks, and we're coming for you. We want a war with you because we're criminals. Ha-ha! And if you protest us, we'll just blow up another Oklahoma City and blame it on you. That's the good old ATF. Oh, they wouldn't ship guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment. They wouldn't bomb Oklahoma City. Even though we know all the names of the people involved and have all the eyewitnesses, including police officers, the ones they didn't kill, like Terrence Yakey, who saw it all. I mean, you know, Eric Holder's a nice man who was Deputy Attorney General at that time. And we have the email from court cases where he said, this is a D-Day level emergency. Get down to Oklahoma City and cover this up. Oh, because some little boom booms didn't quite go off right inside the little building, huh? Oh, that was a sweet little thing you did. You sweetheart little sweetie cake. There's such a nice people running things. Oh, we're all going to be real safe if we don't talk about it. We all just need to go along with what they say, and they're going to be nice to us. They promise. They promise. Or we could just have them all arrested and get the country back and admit the crimes that have been committed by the banksters that hijacked this country. This is a short segment. When I come back, I'm going to get into our top stories. Again, House Committee suspects Fast and Furious cover-up. The Washington Times says that. Well, the House Committee, you suspect a cover-up? We have the press conferences up at Infowars.com, proof that Obama knew about Fast and Furious. You think Hitler knew about the Nazi Party? You think Stalin knew about the Soviet Politburo? Do you think the Easter Bunny knows about Easter? Does the Lucky Charms leprechaun know about Lucky Charms cereal? Does the NFL know about football and tailgating? Does water know about wet? Do fish know about water? Does the sun know about rising? I mean, really? You think there might have been a cover-up when it's all public and it includes shipping drugs in, and that's in the federal courts in Texas and Illinois? And shipping hand grenades out and shipping weapons to drug gangs all over the U.S. to kill the other drug gangs? I mean, you think maybe there's a cover-up when they've been caught lying? Really? And I hear there might be a compromise now. Oh, yeah. They may just let them walk. Because the Republicans have been involved in stuff like this, too. You ever heard of Iran-Contra?
We're on the march. The empire.
You know, we schedule a lot of informative guests on the show, but something I want the producer team listening to me right through the studio window there to write this down so I don't forget, because I've been meaning to do this for years. And I do it occasionally, randomly, when I get a wild hair. But I want to start blocking out areas 2 or 3 times a week, a full hour. And you guys can stand behind me with a cattle prod if I don't do it. And we'll have blocks where, say, Monday in the 3rd hour, I open the phones up to TSA whistleblowers. Or I open the phones up to military whistleblowers about secret military operations that are illegal inside the United States. You don't have a right. You have a duty and a right to report on that. We should have whistleblower hour at least twice a week. And so I want to launch whistleblower hour. And so we'll just start, you guys can pitch ideas at me. I can come up with ideas. We'll block it in so that it's official. We say tomorrow. If it was a Monday, we'll say tomorrow. Next, tomorrow's Tuesday. If today was Monday, in the 3rd hour, we will take calls from TSA whistleblowers. And then we'll get a call, and I'll say, that sounds interesting. And then we'll put them on hold, and they can give us proof of who they are, and it'll be even bigger. We need to really start using the attributes we have, which is millions of listeners. Every time there's a tragedy, a mass shooting, or also something, breaking in the news, we always have people right there on the campus calling in with the ambulances and the sirens in the background. I can be anywhere in the U.S. and say, yeah, I'm here, over here at this trailer park, parked here in the SUV doing the radio show, or parked here in the bus, and 20 minutes later, somebody pulls right in there, a listener. I'm in the middle of nowhere in Arkansas or Virginia or California. We have listeners everywhere. And not just in the U.S. We can open the phones up during the flu in Mexico and just load the lines. We have our own computerized lines, so we can take over 100 calls, and just hundreds of calls from Mexico about what was happening with the flu down there and what was really developing. Remember back when that was happening. I want to open the phones up for Australians to call in, because the carbon taxes start next Monday across the board. Prices in some areas are going to go up 50%. You order lamb chops, it's 50%. because those are eating grass that's for the carbon, and it's bad, and they have flatulence, so the big tax. I mean, just hundreds of taxes inside of it. Whatever the bureaucrats want, they can give waivers to their friends. And this is the global model. This is what's starting up here. And I'm going to open the phones up to Australians. Or I can open the phones up to Germans. Well, what do you think? Being told you've got to bail out all these big banks and, quote, welfare recipients in these countries. I mean, that's going to be a powerful and informative and news-making sector of this show. So I am ordering my crew to make me, because you know I'm like a bird dog, runs off down rabbit trails. That's a good thing and a bad thing. But I need to be, directed here sometimes. So I'm the program director here, but I'm telling you guys to make sure I stay on the straight and narrow here. And we can, like in a Pavlovian fashion, we'll mount shockers in the chair, just a small shock. And then when I'm interrupting too much because I get hyper, my brain's burning with information, you can just bzz, bzz. All right, that's enough. Be the first radio show ever where, like, enough people vote, people are mad at me. Suddenly a big cattle prod comes down out of the ceiling. You think the show would have high ratings if we did that? See, I'm not trying to just get ratings here. I'm trying to just tell the truth and cover the news, but there's a lot of funny stuff we could do. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. I'm digressing. Let me get to our top story today. Out of all this news we've already mentioned and everything that's coming up and the guests we have joining us. Like Joel Gilbert, who wrote Dreams from My Real Father, a story of Reds and deception. Pretty compelling case that they've discovered who Obama's real daddy is. So that is coming up. The filmmaker will be joining us. And in the third hour, for about 30 minutes, we're going to have Lord Moncton pop in from Rio de Janeiro with his big report. It's always informative. A lot of times breaks big news here. They're making the treaty this time secret, but he has his ways of ferreting these things out. He's been locked out of the conference as well. If you had police beat him up once, even though just for no reason, that was on video. He was talking to a reporter, a cop comes over and tackles him. That was in Copenhagen. He had to parachute in when they were locking him out in Durban last year. That's on video. I'm not joking. He said, "Alex, have you seen me parachute in?" I had him on the nightly news. I went, "No, really, you did?" They pull it up, and I'm watching Monken parachuting out into the event. And then side issue, I'm digressing. That's coming up. Now, this next story should get me really mad, but it's why they're discredited, and it's why they're a joke. I didn't notice this until about almost a week into it. And I happened to see a comment about newspapers all over the Midwest especially ran syndicated columns. And it turned out there were a bunch of them. So this was done in a concerted effort all over the Midwest, but also in Montana, Wyoming, everywhere there's rural people that are a little bit more street smart when it comes to not trusting the government, people that live closer to reality than some of the modern city folks that only watch Dancing with the Stars. I saw listeners commenting saying, "Alex, you got to get on this. It's in both my local papers, and it's in papers all over the Midwest." And then I investigated. It was all over the country. When I say 500 publications, it was 500 plus that came up on Google News if you typed in EPA drones. Okay, this is just a few days ago. Now it's hundreds more. So there is a concerted effort everywhere, all over newspapers, so many I can't even keep track of it, saying, "Oh, the hoax has been exposed. There are no drones. No drones are coming. There were never drones." And the evil, well, only 15 or so that I've seen, say Alex Jones, Matt Drudge, DrudgeReport.com, Infowars.com. Normally they just blame others that picked up my report that Drudge picked up that others then picked up. But we're in there as the culprits, as the source of the lie. And we are deceptive. We are discredited, they say. We have been routed. It's just Washington Post, LA Times. Of course, the LA Times had another article the same day, 3 days ago, saying it's incredible. People are really upset about the drones everywhere, and drones over LA, and drones here, and drones there. But then they had another article saying the crazy people think there's drones. What's happened here is this has captured people's imagination. It's finally something, a symbol. Wait a minute, the drones that are used to kill the evil brown people, I mean, that's kind of the archetypal idea, the evil turban people, the evil 9/11 vipers that the globalists publicly fund to attack Syria and Libya and everywhere else.